was on one of the first days when I was in the school that I actually saw in a cabinet downstairs a copper instrument called a sacrometer, which was invented by a J.H. Jellett, a John Hewitt Jellett. And I asked if he was any relation to Mamie Jellett, because it's an unusual surname. And I subsequently discovered it was her grandfather. This is the instrument that I first noticed when I was in the school here on residency. And I discovered that in this instrument is something called an analysing prism. It's a half-shadow prism that's used to kind of diffract light into two halves of a circle, one black, one white. And I was very interested in the fact that he had invented a prism and that Mamie, at a later date, makes this painting called Let There Be Light, which shows a hand refracting light into its spectrum of colour. So it's this link between these two prisms, his prism and her prism, that I really was interested in investigating. And I was just kind of fascinated by the fact that Mamie had this relationship through her family with the school here. And then when I subsequently saw the painting, A Reflection of Light, which her family had donated to the school, which depicts a hand breaking a ray of light into a spectrum of colour, I just was really interested in this kind of path between these two prisms, if you like, the grandfather's prism and then her prism, and the kind of entwining histories that they covered. It was just kind of extraordinary, this history, I thought, and I really wanted to kind of make a trajectory, if you like, through history, through different locations in history, but where the painting was kind of the constant. So it's kind of the painting is a constant and what's around it changes. The film was shot in 3 different locations, one at Mamie's house, and the second location was up in Imma, and then finally here in the School of Physics. And it was shot with a Steadicam. It was shot because I wanted to create this kind of floating shot. You know, the way we think, our thoughts travel through the brain, and we can shift from art to science in our brain. We don't make these divisions in our thinking. And so I wanted to kind of echo that in the work. Myself and Yvonne Scott have curated a selection of objects down here in the Fitzgerald Library, which are all to do with the ideas and themes that are in the film. These are all instruments that are from physics, but they have a relationship with the film, with the concerns of the film. So it's just this idea of interspersing a kind of personal history with these other histories, the history of music or the history of light.
Well, Mamie was known to have an enormous interest in music. This is a songbook dating to 1907, which was published when she was just 10 years old. And up here we have a photograph of Mamie, aged I think about 14, with her sister Bay, who went on to become a musician.
The work that Mamie did, she advanced modernism in Ireland. She showed the first abstract painting that was ever seen in Dublin. And she, provided an alternative to the nationalistic diet that was being served up in the academies of art at the time. So I kind of think the work she did has led to me being an artist here in Ireland. So I felt this very strong connection with her and with the school here. So the film is really that. It's really kind of weaving this trajectory through these locations.